All right, a newly proposed rule could give your next credit score a major boost.
The Biden administration unveiled a plan to prevent medical debt from dragging down your credit rating. And if enacted, the policy would impact millions of people in the U.S. An estimated 1 in 12 people have at least $250 of outstanding medical debt.
For more on this, let's bring in Leah Dempsey. She's the former vice president and senior counsel for federal advocacy at the Association for Credit and Collection Professionals. And we should note a shareholder at the firm Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck LLP. Thanks for being with us. Let's get into this topic because we should let our viewers know that you've spoken out against this proposed policy to erase medical debt from people's credit reports. Why is that, and how does it impact the influence of debt collections agencies who are employed to retrieve all that outstanding debt?
Sure. Well, there's a lot in the press release, a lot of political rhetoric targeting the debt collection industry. However, if you really look at the finer print of this rule, what it does is suppress information about medical debt for credit reports and for lenders that are looking for that information when making decisions on providing people mortgages, providing them car loans. And now, if this proposal became a rule, they would no longer have that information, and people might be extended credit, even if they, for instance, have $200,000 of medical debt that they still legally owe and could be collected through litigation.
Well, so when you mentioned mortgages and car loans, even credit card debt, all of those are choices that people make in advance. But medical debt is something altogether different. And actually, officials say medical debt isn't a good indicator of what type of borrower someone would be because these medical expenses are incurred suddenly. We're looking here, the average cost of just 3 days in a hospital is $30,000. So why do you think that medical debt needs to be viewed in the same category as other types of debt?
Well, medical debt, there's definitely sensitivity around it. Of course, everyone's extremely sympathetic to unplanned medical expenses. However, there's really a variety of unplanned expenses Americans are facing. There's, your car could break down, all sorts of things pop up in your life that you don't plan for. And I don't necessarily think it's fair to say that doctors and hospitals and the people that really were our heroes during the pandemic, keep us healthy and safe in this country, that their type of debt should be treated differently than other types of debt. Should their bills be treated differently than a doctor's bill? It's hard to pick winners and losers when it comes to debt.
Do you have a proposed alternate or solution that might work? I mean, after all, this type of debt does impact people of color, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans disproportionately.
And that's a very serious problem. Congress has looked at this in the Affordable Care Act, the No Surprises Act, have taken steps to limit the detrimental impact of the healthcare system in the U.S. However, this proposal could make things much worse, not better for people facing challenges. It could force upfront payments that are not, not being collected right now. It could force providers in rural and urban communities who are not being paid the same anymore to, pick up and go to other areas. Okay. There's a whole host of unintended consequences that haven't really been thought out by the administration and the CFPB.
Well, Leah Dempsey, we appreciate you joining us to speak about this. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.